them some money in spite of it all. So are we being realistic by saying?
Yeah, you see, and you see, is it because as a political party, when you go and campaign, because the people expect you to give them money, then you too in turn expect the government to give you money. So you run back to the government like, you know what, I'm trying to contest for election. We're trying to change things in Nigeria. We've actually gone to campaign in one village, but all they were asking for was money. So we are coming back to you, INEC, because you registered us. So can you please give us some money so that we can give to the people?
maybe that's not the scenario.
Where does it end?
That's not the scenario I see. What I'm trying to say is that, you know, that's definitely not the scenario that I see. You are saying that if the people believe in you, they should give you money. And you're also aware, you have also stated it, that, you know, more than 70% or about 70% of Nigerian population live below the poverty line.
Yes.
So where do you expect these people to get the money to give you, no matter how much they believe in you, to actually go and run?
That's a lot of money.
Good. Now, let's look at it like this. You see, we'll start from the role of government in this. If the government brings out an electoral law that ensures that money, as far as funding elections is concerned, becomes very little, they put policies in place to ensure.
But is there in the Electoral Act?
It is there.
A ceiling to how much you need to spend on campaign.
Good. Now,
which nobody sticks to.
Fantastic. At least let the government do its own part. Now, if these people are poor and they cannot come together to fund the kind of leaders they want to see to get into positions of power, then those leaders who think it is their responsibility or it is something they really want to do for their people should find other sources of funding their campaign. Why am I saying this? I truly do not believe that it is the responsibility of government to fund political parties. Now, the government can put what I call baseline incentives or a baseline fund, but it's something minimal, but nothing, because you see, at the end of the day, what if people take the opportunity of funding setting up political parties simply because they want to get government funding?
Yeah, but when you say government
funding, that in itself will be a disservice.
Let's explain. When you say government funding, I mean, we know that nobody goes into government with their own personal funds to run it. It's public funds. So how do we categorize that?
That is when you are in government. You run the government with public funds.
Yeah, I mean,
but if you need to
get
to
funding the political parties, because if you say funding it with government funds,
I mean,
that's public funds.
Let's look
still our money.
Let's look at what happens outside Nigeria. In the United States of America, the Democrats and the Republicans, how do they fund their elections? I mean, companies support them.
Yeah, but how do political parties get funded here?
In Nigeria, presently, we understand that if you are in power, definitely you find a way to fund your party.
Yeah, because the thing is,
you are in power.
So many people criticize a certain person for having a lot of control in the party.
That should not be the case. That should not be the law.
Look at this scenario. So many people criticize a lot of people for having this overbearing control in the party. But how many of them actually ask, how does that party get funded?
You see, we go back to what I was saying about the knowledge economy. And that is why you find out that in some of these parties, where the man who has all the money funds the party, he calls the shots. We've seen it
it's a natural principle.
We've seen it in the Western region where, of course, but you see, the people need to begin to step up. Because you see, that's why we say if people deserve the type of leaders they get. If the people do not know that for you to get good leaders, then you need to join political parties and probably contribute to your political party that you believe in. But you're waiting for a government somewhere to fund.
Would you contribute to any political party right now?
The present structures?
Yes.
No, because I'm not a member of any of the political parties.
So how do you get the change that you want?
Fantastic. Note that I say that the platform that some of us need, or we think that will create the kind of leaders that Nigerians need. Presently, we don't have those platforms.
Don't you think that's being utopian? Because you can't keep waiting for this political party to show up.
I think the more we talk about things like this, the more the younger people in Nigeria, not the ones that are recycling themselves in different political parties, changing names, the more the younger people in Nigeria begin to come together and begin to have a kind of a political voice, then we can begin to aggregate and create our own platform.
What happens to changing those ones that exist from within? Because don't think
it's difficult. Do you know why?
Is it not going to be more difficult for those who come together and seek to be registered? Because you'll get an opposition.
Their policies, their manifesto, their agenda may not be what we want to see. For example, I will not join any political party that is not ready to create a true federal system. That's for me. That's so fundamental. Any political party that is saying, you know what, let us manage the constitution that we have. You know what, let us operate 36 states. I will not join because it just doesn't make sense. It is not working until you allow the states control their resources and you allow the states take care of their people. You will not have a true developed Nigeria.
And all political parties, as we speak now, they're against that.
None of them have any agenda for it. For me, it's lip service, even though the APC came out with their 8-point agenda and they put it there, they call it devolution of power. They didn't call it true federalism. They said devolution of power. And I would say, okay.
Don't they mean the same thing?
No, but you need to state it in clear terms. And I said, okay, this may mean true federalism. But, hey, it is just one of 8 agendas. 8 different things you have in an agenda. It's just one of them. And I'm asking myself, okay, hold on. Why don't you make this one of the most foremost and just create only 3 or 2 agenda? And say, okay, you know what, this if we can found this country anew on a new foundation, then of course every other thing can take off.
Why do you think that, you know, I mean, you definitely have your own ideas as to how this country should be run.
Yeah.
Why are you not thinking of creating a political party? What obstacles do you think stands in your way?
Okay, presently, I like the question just from nowhere. It's okay, bro. Now, good. The reason why it's not. Now, I'll try and be as frank as I can in answering this question. You see, I believe there's time for everything. I believe there's also a preparation that has to take place before some steps can be taken. I think I am presently in the state of preparation. Yes, I am preparing myself.
Trying to go to my next year, right?
I'm preparing myself, and I'm looking at the structure that will suit. And by the way, I have taken steps. For example, we have this organization we call the Dignity and Prosperity Organization, because we believe that in Nigeria today, the whole essence of being in a union, in a country as Nigeria, is to ensure true dignity for everyone and true prosperity for every citizen. So we have started, as far back as 2010, myself and some other persons have started the Dignity and Prosperity Organization, DIPT. Right. You know, and with that, we are beginning to see how we can fashion out a proper roadmap for Nigeria. And one of the things that has come out is that we must begin to insist on true federalism. We must begin to say to Nigerians that, hold on, the federal government is too strong. All the resources in the country are being taken to the center from where they are dispensed back. Does that even make sense?
We're out of time, but we'll have to let it go down. Don't forget, you need to get offices in all the states while you're planning. So have that at the back of the mind.
You have to start from somewhere. Right. And for us, starting from where we are presently, it's a state of preparation. We will get there.
Anthony Nyokane is a legal practitioner and a political analyst. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you,